Hi there, my name is Karen Yemla and I'm one of the librarians here at the Hammermill Library. In this video I'm going to go over some items that might be useful to you for intelligence studies on our library website. You can find the library website by going to library.mercyhurst.edu, or you can find it under Academics on the main homepage. We're also linked under the hub. The reason why you might want to start your research at the library homepage is because we have access to books and articles that we've already paid for. For instance, if you're going to Amazon for books, obviously you have to pay for those, and there are some journal articles and newspapers and such that also have subscription fees. But if you're looking at things that we already have access to, you obviously don't have to pay for those things. If you need any assistance with your research, we have several ways for you to contact us. We have an email form here. You can ask for live chat, which is available when the library is open. If you click on Contact the Library here, you can get individual contact information for people working at the library, including myself, and there's my email address there, which is usually the best way to contact me. There are different places you can start your search depending on what kinds of research resources you're looking for. But for many people, the Search Everything box here might be all that you need. When you get started, make sure you have full text and peer-reviewed selected so that you can get journal articles, although you can uncheck peer-reviewed if you're looking for books, magazines, and newspapers and things that aren't scholarly. You can also uncheck full text if you're looking for previews of articles, or if you're okay with finding those in your results, but I prefer to find things that are actually available in full text to read. By default, it searches by keyword, but you can also put in a title or an author if you know of one to put in there. To begin with, I'm going to do a very general search for, let's go with intelligence studies. So I got almost 1.5 million results, which is too many to look through. But I can also use these filters up here to narrow down my search results. I could narrow it down by geography if I'm looking for activity in a particular country, or we can narrow it down by language. So I'll select English for now, but you can also look at articles that are in other languages, which may be useful if you're doing research on a foreign country where English is not the most popular language. So that narrowed things down a little bit. We can also narrow things down by date. So I could maybe go with a custom range from maybe 2004 to present. We'll try that. And that narrows it down a bit. But I can also narrow it down by subject term. So if we open up subject here, we can see some of the subject terms that came up in my search. And from here, I can see what the problem is. I'm getting all these terms that are not related to the intelligence studies that I was looking for, because there are different meanings for the word intelligence, of course. So there's like artificial intelligence here, which can be an issue, but for what I'm doing, I don't want those in my search results, like machine learning, no, and artificial intelligence, no. So I can remove those by doing an advanced search and being more specific about what I meant when I said I wanted intelligence studies. So I'll leave the intelligence studies bit alone and say that I'm looking for things that don't contain artificial intelligence. Yeah. And I'll put that in quotes too, so that they know what I mean by that. And I also don't mean machine learning. There. And I'll put quotes around that too, so that it tells the database that I'm looking for that phrase, or specifically looking for that phrase not to be included. And I say I don't want it in anywhere in the text, so I'll be very exclusive. And now I'll do my search. So I see that my results are a bit better now because I've told it to exclude that information. Notice that it automatically put an and between these two terms, intelligence and studies, but I can probably turn that into quotes this way. Yeah. There. So now I have only 4,000 something results, and that's because I've used Boolean with the advanced search, I've added some filters, and I've used quotes to be very specific about what I am looking for. So we started with almost 1.5 million results, and now we have 4,000. Okay, so here's an article. No, we don't know where Tupac is, critical intelligence studies, and the CIA on social media. So let's say I want to go read that. I can click on it, and it'll show me where I can get it. So it's available in HTML and PDF. And we can also look at the abstract to see generally what it's about. Notice too that it also shows some subject terms here that you could use to look for other things, like the social media term or microblogs, which is actually the generic term for what Twitter actually is, because it's a very, very small blog. So let's have a look at the PDF, and here's the full text. Up here and on the record page, there's also some tools you can use to save these for later, so you can get some pre-made citations. I think we can try APA here, and we can copy and paste that into a works cited page and copy it to clipboard here. And also you can use citation exports, which can work with things like Zotero and Mendeley and some others. And that downloads a data file, this RIS file here, and then your program can read it and turn it into a citation for you. Although you can also do it the old-fashioned way. And if you just need a quick way of being able to note down something, just plain creating a link with this create a link option allows you to put that into your clipboard and put it into a email or a list of links. And that's also a pretty easy way of being able to save these for later if you're not ready to do all the citation stuff yet. And of course, you can also email it to yourself, so you can email that as a PDF attachment and then send it to yourself or someone else if you're working in a group. And then you can go read that on another device. And that makes it a lot easier to get a hold of these. And I do recommend coming up with at least some system for organizing your research, because it's a lot harder to go back and do it again. But noting it down quickly, quickly trying to put down at least a link somewhere, makes it so that you already have it saved somewhere, so that you know what articles you want to go look at later. The job of the Search Everything box is to search most of what we have all at once, as in different databases. But not every database we have and every resource we have is searchable in the Search Everything box. So I'm going to go over some of the other resources that may be useful to you. One of these is the Classic Catalog, which is the best way to search for print books and ebooks that we also have in our catalog. You can search by title, author, subject, call number, ISBN. But I'm just going to go with a general keyword search and look for national security. So that brings up 7,000 something results, which includes some print books and some ebooks. If I decided that I wanted print books only, you can click on book here, and it'll narrow it down to book resources. So here's one called Intelligence of the National Security Strategist from 2006. So it tells me where it is on the shelf, and if I were to go to this shelf in the library, it would have other books in the same subject nearby, because these books are shelved by subject. So that's another way of being able to locate materials in the library. If I decided I wanted online books, we can click on e-resources, and that would show us books that are in our ebook collections. Like, for instance, this one. To access the ebook, I click where it says access this title here, and it should open it up in whichever database it's in. In this case, it's in EBSCOhost EBSCO ebooks. Another way to find ebooks is to go to Find and then ebooks, and that'll show us our ebooks page, which has our subscription ebook databases as well as some free online books. Like we were looking at earlier, EBSCO's ebook collection is the biggest collection of ebooks that we have. And from here, you can do a regular keyword search or click on the advanced search to use Boolean terms or to decide where you want to do your search, like if you're looking for a certain author or if you want to search within the text of all the books. And that's especially useful when you're looking for something that is really esoteric, so you can find any book that just mentions it somewhere inside. But I'll start with a regular keyword search and look for national security again. So we got several thousand results, just 2,000 results. And let's say hypothetically I wanted to read this book from 2020. From here, I can view it with PDF or EPUB full text, and there is an option here that says full download, but that's neither really a download nor is it full, so I don't recommend it. PDF full text or EPUB full text will work in the browser right away, so you don't have to do anything extra to get in there. And like you would expect from any ebook, you can flip through it just like you would a regular book in real life, and you can also search within the book for certain terms and words if you wish. There. So that'll take you to the pages that mention that word. And this is also a good way of gauging how much your topic is discussed in a certain book. And like I was saying before, this database also has tools such as linking and pre-made citations and citation files. And you can also email yourself a reference to it if you would like to read this later. Although for ebooks, they don't send you a whole copy of the entire book for free in your email. It just sends you a reference to it. If you're looking for reference materials, you can find those in Credo Reference and Infobase ebooks, which both contain reference books in digital format, which also exist in print. And Infobase ebooks has these in a sort of visual book format. While Credo Reference has more of an HTML, quicker electronic look. So I think I'll do a quick search in here for national security again. Actually, no, I think I'll do security in general and just see what happens. And so I'm getting things like the Dictionary of Prisons and Punishment, Key Concepts in International Relations, Dictionary of Policing, Companion to International Relations, Dictionary of Law, etc. So these are all encyclopedias and dictionaries that are subject-specific. So it's just not like a general encyclopedia. So that makes this a good alternative to Wikipedia if you're looking for references that you can actually cite. And they actually do have some pre-made citations here that you can use. And if you find a encyclopedia or dictionary that sounds like it's perfect for you, like Key Concepts in International Relations, you can click on its title, and then from there you can browse it and search it. So if you need some ideas on things that you could do a research project on, you could flip through this and get some ideas that way, the way that you would if you had this book in print in front of you. I'd also briefly like to at least point out R.K. Miller Market Research Handbooks, which is more of a business resource, but it is something that could be useful if you're doing research on something that crosses with business matters. We have many other databases that may be useful to you. You can find them under Find, and then Databases A to Z. This shows us all the databases we have. That includes databases that we pay for, that are licensed in some way, and databases that don't cost anything or are just web pages that we list here too. Those are denoted by these planet icons. Let's have a look at our subscription databases, which are the ones that cost the big bucks. Many of these are EBSCO resources, which are searched very well in the Search Everything box, but they are listed here individually if you wish to visit them that way. The Homeland Security Digital Library is sort of a free resource, but being a university, we are given special access to extra materials that would not be available if you just search this on Google off the campus area. So let's try a search for machine learning. Securing the shared resources of machine learning. And so this comes out as a PDF. This is not a peer-reviewed journal, but it's more like a white paper or report. This is one of those databases that does not do your citations for you, but they do have some links and explanations that can help you get your citations started. So this is one of those instances where you do have to go and make your own citation based on what citation style you want to use. But we'll later talk about where to get a citation manual. Janes has been a long-time publisher of intelligence studies and military information, and they have a database here. This database requires an extra step to log in. You log in using your organization email, which is your Mercyhurst email, so don't use a personal email like a Gmail account or anything like that. It has to be your official Mercyhurst email. So I'll enter mine. And then it should look for your login. And I've already logged into my Mercyhurst email in my browser, so it's just going to pass me along to the database. But if you haven't logged into your Microsoft account yet, your Mercyhurst Microsoft account, you will be asked to log into that. So now we're in here. And there's some news at the top, and I can search for a particular country if I like. And I'll look for Finland and see what they're up to. So at first we get news, so this is pretty current news. So in January it looks like they bought some new jets. We can also look for it under country profiles, which can give us information about their special operations forces, their army, etc. Their infrastructure, what they have in their military. And this is what we think their military size is. But for some countries that America doesn't communicate with that well, we'll say, some of these estimates may be just as close as to what we can get as to what they really have. Like if we open up, say, Russian Federation, whether or not this is 100% accurate is questionable. But it's as close to the real number as we can get. You might notice too, when doing searches, you'll see things with locks on them, and those are things that are not included in our subscription because this is a very expensive resource. And this is an example of a kind of research resource that is not designed for students. This is actually built for real people working in the real world, quote-unquote real world. So you may end up seeing more of this database as you go into the workforce rather than less of it. And below that we have JSTOR, which is a journals database, and they're nagging us here to create an extra account, but you don't need to do that, so I'll say don't ask again. And so from here we can get started, and I'll do a quick search for United Nations. Let's see what happens. And I got about 1 million results, which is quite a lot. But like I was saying before, we can put quotes around that, and now we're looking for that specific phrase, United Nations. And I can also narrow it down to just journals, because this contains both research reports, journals, and books. So I can say I want journals, or if I wanted to, I could also say I do want those reports. We can also narrow things down by year if we wish. And they also have a pretty good amount of historical information, but I think I'll keep it to modern times with 2006 to, say, 2024. Apply that. And we can also narrow things down by subject. And so they don't have subject terms, but they do have general subject areas, such as law, international relations. So here's one called Irish Studies in International Affairs. So if I click on it, we can see the full text. There, so I can download it and get access to the whole article. And this database fortunately also has some pre-made citation tools you can use to get started, and those files for bibliographic management softwares. Under N, we have several news resources stacked together. The New York Times gives you a day pass to use the New York Times website, and then after one day you have to renew it again, but at least it gives you access to it for that time. And then we have Newsbank and Nexus Uni. Newsbank is a newspapers database that has news from all over the world and all of the country, including small newspapers and large newspapers. And I sometimes think of Newsbank as a sort of fun database because you can use it not just for your research, but also for looking for information on people and places that are relevant to you. So I'll do a quick search for Mercyhurst Intelligence Studies. It looks like we got some entries for that. Let's see. Proactive Worldwide to partner with Mercyhurst University. Let's have a look at that. This is from PR Web USA. Okay. And if you are involved in sports on campus or other campus activities, you can sometimes find newspaper articles in here and then download that as a PDF so that you can have it for later as the sort of keepsake. Newsbank also has some pre-made advanced searches you can do with suggested topics here, and this is also a way to get some ideas on subjects you might want to look into if you're needing some help finding a topic. So if I look for info on, let's go with dictatorship, I can click on that. And not only has it done the search for me, it has also put together some Boolean terms and phrases already with them in quotes and also date limiters so that you can get started on your search a bit quicker this way. And below that we have Nexus Uni, which is a university version of the LexisNexis data tools that are used in law and business and other industries. So it's not going to have the same amount of law information that the lawyers get to have because LexisNexis Legal is extraordinarily expensive, but we still have a pretty good amount of case law in here despite that. Nexus Uni also has a large archive of newspapers from all over the world, as well as industry news and law reviews and more information. But since it's so good at it, I would like to start with a quick case search using the guided search here. So I'll look for federal cases involving InfoWars from the past 5 years, we'll say. And that brings us some cases involving InfoWars and a gentleman called Mr. Jones. So instead of just hearing about issues in the news where somebody has sued someone else, you can actually get maybe the original case law. I'll try Lafferty v. Jones from 2021. For the reasons stated below, the court denies InfoWars' defendants cross-motion for jurisdictional discovery, grants plaintiffs motions to remand, etc., etc. So, this is literally legalese, but this is kind of definitive information. So, although we make a big deal of scholarly peer-reviewed journals in academia, having access to case law like this is very useful. Notice also there are a lot of references to code and other cases. Like, let's try this one here and see what it is. And that refers to a part of the US Code. Or in this case, it's the US Code Service, which is a explicated version that LexisNexis makes. Nexus Uni also has a specialized business search, which you can find under this menu here. So I can go to Menu and go to Company Dossier. And Company Dossier does company searches as well as executive searches for the people in those companies. As I may have mentioned before, we have some websites also listed in our A to Z list, because these are websites that we recommend. And some of these include .gov websites. So one website that can cover many of them all at once is USA.gov, which you may or may not have heard of. USA.gov is a search portal for the US government websites, and that includes the local websites, state ones, and the federal. So from here, you can look for statistics and other useful information, or you can look for, like, let's say, statistics from the FBI. So that brings up FBI.gov, and they have reports and statistics that they put out. There's also a resource called the CIA World Fact Book, which used to be a literal book that you could get, but now they've put the entire thing online, and it's a very useful way to get country data. And naturally, USA.gov is a good place to look for career and job information, especially if you want to work for the government. There's an entire government website called intelligencecareers.gov, so they made an entire website to talk about that. Besides the research resources themselves, we also have guides and services that can help you. If you look under research, there's a link that says research by subject, and we have subject guides for various subjects that you might be studying, including intelligence studies. We also have a guide for research help here, and that includes a page on how to cite resources and some links to citation manuals, including ones we have in print and some ones you can find online, like the well-known OWL at Purdue. And if the library doesn't have what you're looking for, but you know it exists, we have interlibrary loan services and Easy Borrow, which allow us to borrow books and articles from other libraries on your behalf. But above all, remember that you can always contact us directly if you need any help with anything. Thanks for taking the time to listen to this video. If you have any more questions, you can contact me directly through email or come and see me in person, and maybe we can even meet in my office at some point or meet on Teams or Zoom or something similar if you need any further assistance. Thanks for listening, and good luck on your research.